Welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the world who are here sharing their expertise and wisdom so we can all grow together. I'm your host, Heidi Schalk, co-founder of HLH Growth Solutions, where we help businesses scale through outside the box visibility and automation strategies. If you're new to this podcast, welcome. It's a great day, and it's a great day to be here with you. Stay to the end because I have a special gift just for you. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my guest for today, Brian Meisenburg with Applied Fitness. So welcome, Brian, to the show.
Thanks, Heidi. Excited to be here and looking forward to an amazing conversation.
I'm excited to chat with you too. So Brian, can you start us off for those of the people that haven't heard of Applied Fitness? Can you let us know what you do, your role within it, a little bit about your journey? Give us the backstory.
Yeah, absolutely. So Applied Fitness is a series of personal training gyms in Buffalo, New York, and I've owned it now for 17 years. And what we specialize in, a little bit more of a niched nuance where we only work with people over the age of 40. So it's fitness success after 40, where we incorporate the medical weight loss, the GLPs, and whatnot, along with personal training, nutrition, and accountability. So it's we have 2 locations. We have 2 in the pipeline. So we're pretty excited about our growth trajectory for 2026.
Nice. So why did you, what inspired you to build Applied Fitness?
Well, when I started it, I saw the gap in the big box gyms, which were very impersonal, and I kind of thought there was a niche there for something that wasn't impersonal, like a big gym, but wasn't necessarily physical therapy. That's something that was for more working adults, 40 and over, that wanted more high touch, more of a premium service, more of a hands-on experience as opposed to just kind of the impersonal gym atmosphere. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just our opinion. It's just there's a little bit more effective when you actually have a coach. So that was kind of why I started that, and that's what we focus on.
Yeah, I can say I love that you do. When you told me when you just shared that it's over 40, I was like, I'm over 40. I'm actually over 50. So I'm like, that's fantastic. Because the reason I say that is because I've been in the fitness space, or I was in the fitness space early on. So as a personal trainer, I competed in my 20s and in my early 30s. But in my late 20s, started moving into this fitness space. And what we want in our 20s and 30s, it is a lot different than what we're looking for in our 40s and 50s, especially for women. I can talk into women only, but I have not stepped into a big gym unless I was literally on their ticket, like on their, I was an extra guest. I typically don't want that atmosphere anymore. So especially being a busy mom and entrepreneur. So I really love what you're doing. And I'm glad you're doing it, because I believe that, and talks into the importance of niching down, right? Really getting clear on who your target market is and who you want to serve. And I think for many business owners, when starting, it's like, I can serve everybody, because you could probably serve anybody in certain things that you offer, but really getting clear on who that target market is and how you want to serve them is really important. And, so I'm glad that you shared that information. So what are the biggest struggles that your clients typically come to you with?
Oh, geez, that's a great question. And the biggest threat is by far the metabolism.
Okay.
I too, I'm 50, so I understand this. So I talk the talk and walk the walk. But what they found was that after the age of 40, the metabolism starts to slow down, their bodies start to change. Life changes. When you're in your 40s, you're usually a working professional, you have kids, you don't have as much time for exercise. So what they realize is that they have to do something different. So they start to get frustrated and discouraged because what they used to do in their 20s and their 30s, more exercise, less food, just doesn't work anymore. So what I found was that once we kind of switched that around and focus more on personalization, more of quality and not quantity, such things like recovery, things like stress management, that's why we brought in a medical director that we actually do medical weight loss, the GLPs too, to kind of help. Because for some people, it's just necessary. They need that GLP support done right, used as a tool in combination with the personal training and nutrition. needed something more. So that's kind of why, what we focused on.
Yeah, I know from talking with a lot of my friends, they could be like, I'm eating less and I'm trying to walk more, but
Mm,
I still feel like I'm not losing the weight. And stress can play a big role in holding on to
absolutely.
that, right? Stress, trauma, there's a lot of things besides just eating less, which sometimes is the wrong thing to do, correct?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, and you're a personal trainer, so you know all that stuff and it's almost like the fitness advice of the mainstream fitness advice is just tainted because it's kind of geared more again towards the 25, 30-year-old, that can skip a few meals, do a couple extra workouts, and the weight just comes off. But,
Right.
again, after 40, 50 and beyond, little different story, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Brian, can you share a client success story that really just stands out to you?
Oh, absolutely. I'll talk about Linda, who actually she was a client of mine for over a year and a half, and the her journey was actually amazing because she lost a lot of weight. I think she lost like 42, 43 pounds, but her whole life changed. So it wasn't just the achievement that she achieved with the weight loss, which was very impressive,
Mm,
and I give her credit and I love her for that. But it was more the transformation in her life. Like she got more confidence, she had more energy, and she was 49. She had kids and she had aging parents, and it really changed her whole life. She was able to be a better spouse to her husband. She was actually better to be a better parent because she said she had more energy. She was able to volunteer at her church more. So it's just amazing that it's not just the weight that she lost, but gosh, just the life that she
mm.
gained that just opened up. And to see her today, and this client have lost more weight, but her story really resonates with me because it really changed her whole life. And she volunteers more. She's a better parent. She's a better spouse. She's a business owner herself, so she feels like she's a better employer. So I think that's the circle of influence that helps.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And if you're hearing this, congratulations and kudos to you. You're an inspiration because I know that was not an easy journey. I know it took a lot of
Yeah.
dedication, hard work, accountability on your side, Brian, and the constant connection to your why. Why am I doing this? Because I know some mornings or some evenings when you're getting there and you don't want to get there to go do the thing, you got to find that motivation. So thank you for Linda for fighting through, and thank you for sharing her journey, Brian.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I love that you shared that it changed everything, and that's why when her story resonates, because people can lose the weight, right? They follow the program and they do the thing. The weight loss alone is huge and a congratulatory something we should be celebrating. But we don't many times realize the bonuses we receive in our life and that others receive when we're really feeling
Yeah.
good, both internally and externally. Because for women, I know I'll speak for me when I'm not fitting into my clothes. It doesn't matter if I'm going to the fanciest place if I don't feel good in me and what I'm wearing and what I'm doing, or just I don't have the energy, then unfortunately I'm not projecting the happy Heidi that I want to project. And the people aren't getting to see the real me. And the people around me aren't
Mm.
benefiting from that, especially my children, partners, all of that. So I love that this supported her in her relationships. I love that it supported her and just her feeling good about herself in whatever ways she wanted to feel good about herself, whether it was mentally or physically. And also that it extended into her career as well. So I love that story because it's all encompassing versus just that one goal, which that one goal of losing the weight is huge. And it's
Right.
great that we get to hear from you what also transpired for her, because that's important for people to understand. Once we lose that weight or lose that whatever that is, we're getting more benefit of just losing the weight. We're getting the benefit of more energy, better relationships, showing up happier, and we're healthier. So it's a like a
Yeah.
full circle. Yeah. It's a full pot.
It,
Go ahead.
it is. And to your point, and again, focusing on the 40 and over, I think that they start to appreciate that it's more than just the aesthetics and it's more than just losing the weight. The clients that come in, they know that they look at okay, how's my health span going to be? Not just lifespan, number of years of my life, but my health span. How long can I be active? How long can I do what I want to do? especially with our clients, a little more affluent, a little bit more sophisticated. They have the means and they see, okay, I want to retire soon. I want to travel. And am I going to be strong enough? Am I going to have the mobility to travel? Am I going to be fit enough, or are my best years behind me? And so that we really do just love the whole empowerment. That, and you said it great with confidence, to give people confidence that, okay, if I can change my body, if I can control how I move my body, control what I put in my body, I can do anything. I can take that confidence and do other things. And I think that's what's really, really, it's what motivates me as a coach. And that's what motivates my team, is the stories like that. So
Yeah.
it's more than just the fit.
Yeah, and that's so good. And it's, it's something I've been reflecting on a lot lately because I work from home. I have I'm co-founder of a business. We work really hard and I sit a lot. And I used to be very active. As we talked about behind the scenes, I was a personal trainer back in the day. I competed. I should be one that at this stage in my life, my exercise routine should be part of my life. And it hasn't been because I prioritized everything else. I'm a single mom. There's a lot of things where that fell to the wayside. And I can tell you, when I'm sitting and then I get up, I feel like I'm more like 80 than 53 walking across the living room. And I think about what you
Right.
just said. What am I going to look like? Or am I even going to make it to when I want to be into stepping into, because I'm hoping my best years are ahead of me. My kids are in high school, they're getting ready to graduate. I'm busy figuring out what's their next steps. But I also want to know, okay, well, empty nesting's coming. What does that look like for me? Is my body deteriorating as I'm like not active, or am I going to be able to be living my best life, doing the active things that I want to do with traveling? So yeah, to your point, it really doesn't matter, what I could be wrong, but from what I'm hearing and from my standpoint, it really doesn't matter necessarily the weight. It matters on how your body feels and that you're staying in movement, because it doesn't matter whether
Mm.
you're 120 pounds or you're 200 pounds, right? If you're not moving, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about business growth a little bit. So one thing I'm always fascinated with with successful businesses is what happens behind the scenes, because we can, once your growth starts happening, what got you to the success of your first location is probably not what's going to get you the success of your second location, right? So what I mean by that is
Right.
what got us to our first six figures is not going to necessarily get us to our first 500,000. So you can be incredible at what you do and everything, but growing visibility wise, lead flow, operations, and client experience becomes a completely different challenge. So for you, Brian, what has been the biggest driver of growth for Applied Fitness so far?
That's a great question, and you're absolutely right. It's what got us here is not going to get us there is a great analogy, because when I opened the second location, I thought, well, it's just more of the same, and I just thought, well, we'll just be able to help more people, bigger impact. But what I realized right away was that, without me being on site from the first location, everything kind of, and like the messaging got diluted, the systems that I thought were in place kind of got diluted, and it took a couple months to kind of realize, okay, let's buckle up these systems. Let's make sure that it's not personality driven, which it was when I was there. That it's now system driven. That we're focusing, that our core tenets are focusing on the clients, focusing on all of that stuff. Because that, if we don't instill that with a second location, that's just going to get worse with a third location, fourth location, and so on and so forth. So that was the biggest challenge. And also I turned that into a strength by really just SOP and everything, standard operation, using AI for all of our SOPs to make sure that everything gets done. So that was my biggest challenge, but I actually turned it into probably the biggest advantage to really just systemize everything. So that's been huge for me.
Amazing. So are most of your clients, do they come from referrals, social media? Are you doing paid marketing, local partnerships? I'm sure you're doing, I can imagine some local visibility or something completely different than I'm even talking about.
All of it. But what you just said, we do social media, we do organic content, but we also do paid ads, we do referral contests. We do a lot of stuff, a lot of joint ventures with chiropractors and other physical therapists in the community. So we have a lot of poles out in the water, always looking for the other way to touch and reach clients.
What do you feel has been the major when you the clients that are coming to you, do you see like a consistency in their biggest struggle?
I do, yeah, for sure. It's the metabolism and hormones. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. They all come, whether it's no matter where they're at in their fitness journey, it's always the same thing. Their metabolism is slow, hormones are in havoc, and they just need a reset. So by far that's we do have, we're probably about 70% female, 30% males. The guys might not enunciate it that way. They might not say it's my metabolism, but it is. It's kind of guys too, their metabolism slows down. So again, it's still the same principles of just kind of resetting the body. So that's the biggest thing. We hear that all the time.
So what part of marketing or visibility do you feel has been the most frustrating or inconsistent?
I would say the probably the sales conversion part. That we do a very good job with the lead nurture. We do a good job, but it's just kind of the sales conversion. And I think just because it's just been me, it's been myself. So conveying that to a team to do that, not that they couldn't, but that's probably been my biggest bottleneck. My constraint is just there's only one of me, and if I have consults in one location, I got to go back and forth. So that's probably been the biggest struggle in the marketing is just the sales, the conversion.
Yeah. So what platform or visibility strategy do you think you've underutilized the most? Is there an area?
Right now we're big on Facebook, Instagram, because it seems to be where the 40 and over is pretty much live. We have local stuff that I think that we've kind of missing out on. I don't know if this is a national thing, but there's like Nextdoor app, which is a community-based stuff. I think we could do more of that stuff. And I think that that's kind of what we should probably do more of. Lower CAC or customer acquisition cost, easier to reach because it's hyper focused. So I
Mm.
think there's some gaps there that we totally could focus as opposed to just meta, focus more on the some of the local stuff.
Yeah, like your local partnerships and events and things like that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you said that you do the paid advertising, which is key. So is that not the reason I want to talk about this a little bit is because a lot of businesses when they're starting, they think that's where they should jump right away. But what we've seen is that
Right.
sometimes you really, or all the time, you really got to dial in your messaging prior to it. So when did you decide, is that something you did where you like you knew you were dialed in from the beginning, so you're like we're going to do that those paid methods, or is that something that you grew into?
You know what? We were kind of spoiled in the sense that when I first started, this was, gosh, this was the time where Facebook was really just starting to get big, and you could put anything up,
Yeah.
and leads would come in. And so like that kind of it kind of spoiled me because like that I was like, wow, we could just put anything up and lead costs were super low and everybody was excited. So I kind of started that way and just have done that, my whole career. But I probably now with the way social media is, I probably wouldn't start there. Probably would do more of the organic, the grassroots stuff now. But I was just lucky. It was just a good time. Facebook was wild and crazy. You could put anything up and just people would come back. And at that time too, there were such things as I don't even know if it's still around, but Groupon was around. I don't know if
Yes,
that's still. But
it's
again,
still around.
there was other ways that like people would just flock. But again, I don't, we don't do that anymore. But so yeah, if I could do it over again, probably wouldn't. I would wait as long as I could, just more organically and grassroots. But yeah, I was spoiled in that sense.
Yeah, which is good. And I like that you said like what worked last then isn't, it was easy. Now I'm sure you've had
Yeah.
some evolutions you needed to go through and some learning curves, which is important because no matter when you are starting or where you are in your growth phase, a business that was here, say, even if you started 2 years ago, you are evolving as you grow, which is what you did. You got in a great time. And as things got a little more stricter or stringent with the meta ads, you've evolved and grown since then. And like things that you worked then, you're not even utilizing now. So that's an
Yeah.
important key takeaway. So you had mentioned the conversion, you'd love to get better there. And I know a lot of businesses, I think every business out there would love to increase their conversion percentages and numbers. So I'm
Right.
curious,
Right.
when somebody expresses interest in working with you or joining your program or one of your locations, what does your lead process look like today?
So today the lead process is, if it's something from social media, typically it's a lead ad where they give us a name and phone number. We follow up with them immediately to try and initiate that conversation. The only goal is to set up an appointment. We don't do hard sales or anything. We're just trying to start the communication. One of the benefits of being a boutique fitness studio is that, again, we're not a big box gym, so we don't need 5,000 members. We don't even want five. I couldn't even handle that. All we need is 100 to 130. So we can be a little bit more selective. Obviously, it's a premium product, so it's a little bit higher price. So we can be a little bit more selective in who we bring in. So that's kind of the sales process, is just initially just to start the conversation, to have them come in and do a starting point consultation where we can just get to know about them and see if it's a good fit. It's not, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And then when people come in and they realize, okay, this is different. This is not loud music. This isn't 20, and this isn't people doing selfies in the gym. This is people just like me. This is, people, oh my God, I know her. They
Yeah.
kind of, they feel at home. Then we can have that conversation of, okay, let's take this to the next level and let's start the program.
Yeah. You mentioned AI earlier, that you've utilized
Mhm.
the AI tools and it's supported you in your business. So are there processes in your business that still feel too manual that you would love to see moved more into an automation flow for you? Since you are more, you do a lot yourself without a big team around you. So
Right.
are there areas that you'd like to see, like, it'd be great if I could automate that or create simpler processes?
Yeah, no, that's actually a question. That's where I spend the majority of my time, honestly, is thinking how I can use AI, agentic AI. We have a lot of processes in place now. I think the missing gap for us is coming up with an AI system to help clients when they're not with us, like an AI system that can give them a completely customized workout with what they have available at home. Maybe it's 10, 15 minutes, maybe it's just no equipment, but just to augmentate, like, okay, I'm going to see you twice a week here at the studio. On other days, I want you to use our agent, our AI, whatever we're going to call it, to do these workouts. And I think that's a missing gap right there, to really come up with something that can keep track of them for the other 165 hours. Because we see them 3 hours a week, the other
Right.
165 hours of the week. It'd be nice if they could do some, and I think that's the missing puzzle. I'm working on that, but I think that's the stopgap right now. But as far as the nutrition, the accountability, all of that, we have AI that's all automated. And it's interesting. At first, I think clients thought that it was going to be, they're a little apprehensive. And I told them that it's the AI meets HI, the human
Ah,
intelligence, that
right.
the AI help give the information to the coach that could actually make the real-time adjustments and say, hey, I see you're not sleeping well. I see you're pretty stressed. We're going to adjust your workouts. I see you're not eating protein. Like that, still need the human intelligence, still need the coach, but I think the AI gives information that otherwise we would never be able to get. We wouldn't be able to do that without AI in real time. So we've come a long way, but there's still a long ways to go.
Yeah. And I could see that in your space. It's boutique style, right? It's a more customized, private type of service that you provide. So I can see how your clients are like, well, I want you, but there's only one of you, right? So they get you and they get your team and they get the space that you provide for them. And it's nice to have that ongoing support when they're not with you, which is where I think many of us are like, okay, well, we get to support you better and more effectively with AI. And you're also getting me and me behind that AI. So just kind of like them, training them on what's coming and teaching them, and then they're more open to it. So I can see where you're kind of needing
Sure.
to support your clients in kind of moving through this process of the transition of bringing in AI. And I know once they, like, once they get it and they're utilizing it, how beneficial it's going to be for them and for you to better support them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that you know, I think some clients don't understand, or people in general, is that AI is already being used. Like I know the medical community, radiologists use it. The AI is an overlay for their scans. I mean, it's already being, I think it's being more prevalent than some people think. Like, oh, that seems a little sketchy. It seems, is that safe? Is it secure? And I'm like, it's already being used in your everyday life. It's just a matter of, I mean, I think the medical community has been using it for a while. It's just people just don't think about it. But yeah, it's once they realize that, okay, this is for my benefit, then they're on board.
I think what you just said is awesome because it's so true. And you said it in such a simplified way for clarity that we're already AI's been around for a really long time. And I think we would be kind of shocked to learn how it's been being utilized through things we've already used or services we've been provided for, unbeknownst to us. I spoke with a gentleman in physical therapy last week, and his wife had hip surgery, and it was done by a robot. So the doctor was overseeing it, obviously, but the robot was doing the surgery. So yeah, there's a lot of, and like you said, in radiology, there is a lot of AI tools that are being used to originally scan it. And then if something is flagged, then the radiologist will be notified to dig deeper. So there's a lot of ways that us as patients aren't even understanding how that AI is being used in a lot of our diagnoses. So I was going to ask you what excites you the most, but I want to wait for that. One more question. Where do you think the biggest thing what do you think is the biggest thing standing between where the business is today, where your business is today, and where you ultimately want to go?
Oh gosh, the biggest thing I think is it's going to sound kind of weird, but I guess just hours in the day. Like, I mean, I have so many different ideas. Just last week, I was in San Francisco. I was a presenter at a wellness, and just where the market is going, where the industry is going in fitness. I have just so many things. I just have such limited time, and I probably have the entrepreneur ADHD that, I have 1,000 ideas, but it's just kind of just the time and the focus to just head down and just focus on one thing at a time. My team always jokes, they're like, geez, like, do you sleep? And I'm like, not really. But that's so that for me, that's kind of the thing. It's just enough time to really focus on everything that I think that is where the industry is going.
Yeah. So what excites you the most about the future of applied fitness, Brian?
Just that. The focus is that the exciting is that we're kind of moving from, I think the industry, excuse me, in general is moving from just fitness to more wellness based. I said it earlier, it's not just lifespan, it's well span or health span, whatever you want to say, longevity, anti-aging. There's a number of different ways, but I think that's what excites me is, as I mentioned, we got into medical weight loss, the GLPs, but we're also beyond that. We're into peptide therapies. So we get clients that, okay, they've lost the weight. Now they're like, you know what, my energy level. So now they're on other peptides that are in-house physician prescribes. And I kind of think that personalized care, really individualized, like in our studio, we do labs and I think that's exciting because, okay, your doctor says you're okay, but you're okay, but you're not optimal. How can we optimize you? And I think that's what excites me is that we can really, really treat the individual as opposed to just the bell curve. And I think that's what excites me and that whole wellness movement. It's, from Peter Attia to any of those guys that have really moved the ball as far as wellness.
So are there any things that you want to expand into? And I hope I don't get those ADHD juices flowing because I totally get it. Entrepreneur chances are we have those, we have that. But are there any things that you want to expand upon into or expand into beyond what your current model is, such as like online programs, licensing, you're doing some speaking, partnerships, you mentioned community, content or something else?
The next phase is the licensing. The conference that I was at, I've done a number of them so is the licensing model, because this is unique, even though it's something that shouldn't be unique. It really is in the industry to have medical and fitness under one roof. So now we're starting to have people reach out to us like, how are you doing this? How are you training your team? How are you marketing this? How are you complying for legal, for HIPAA, for all that? So it's, we're documenting all that. And I think the licensing thing, not necessarily franchising, licensing a little different, but just licensing the methodology that we
Mm.
have. And we've actually patented it. We have it's the metabolic reset method is an actual patent. We've already applied for, received that patent. So that was the first step in the licensing transition.
Well, congratulations on your patent. That's a big
Yeah, thank you.
accomplishment. I
Yeah,
know
thank
that's
you.
not an easy process. So,
No, I would not have done it if I would have known. I wouldn't even have tried it. If I would have known it was going to be that hard, I wouldn't have done it. But get to a point where I was too far in it. I'm like, I just have to finish this. But
yeah.
yeah, it was a great accomplishment.
Yeah, it's a big accomplishment. So congratulations. So Brian, can you share with everybody listening how they can connect with you and find you and learn more about applied fitness and your methodology?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is fatlossbuffalo.com. You can find me on social media. It's Fat Loss Buffalo. All the social medias is the same handle. And I would love to connect with anyone if you have any questions about how we're doing it, or if you just have questions about fitness in general, reach out and love to talk to people. Always looking to connect with other business owners.
Yeah. So if you're watching us on YouTube, Brian, I say hello. Thank you for being here. If you know of anybody that would benefit from hearing Brian today, and I know we all do, we all know someone, please, even yourself, please share this episode with somebody that you know, and also reach out to Brian. Let them know that the interview is here. So they can listen to Brian and also learn more about how they can connect with him and learn more about how to support themselves in their fitness goals or their wellness goals. We're moving away from fitness, right, and into wellness. So more about their wellness journey and their wellness goals. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, thank you. We're glad you're here. If you're so inclined to hit that review button, we would love 5 stars, because that supports the podcast platform into sharing this with more people. The more people that we can get this out to, the more people that are going to hear Brian and learn how they can support themselves in their wellness journey, and also learn how to connect with him. I promised y'all a gift, so I'm going to go ahead and give that to you right now. If you're looking to grow your visibility, Brian shared what's been working for him, what he's done. He does a lot. He's very active in his marketing role, and you feel like you've been doing a lot of things, but it's just not getting you and moving the needle forward as much as you'd like it to, then go ahead and download our Spotlight to Scale blueprint. You can go to spotlighttoscale.com and grab that for free. Brian, before I wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to say or share that I didn't get to ask you or we didn't talk about today?
No, I think I think you spoke a bunch of different topics, and I think it's exciting that other fitness entrepreneurs, whether it's health, fitness related or in general, that they're consuming content like this, that they're learning behind the scenes stuff, that they're learning that, sometimes entrepreneurship and business can be a lonely game. You can feel like, so you can't really talk about it with your friends because they have jobs. You can't really, there's sometimes you can feel like you live on an island, but with resources like this and amazing topics and amazing guests that you've had, I just think that's a great resource for people to find inspiration, sometimes outside of our industry too, that we can learn, okay, I might not be in the restaurant business, but I can learn something from that business, because at the end of the day, business is business is business. So thanks for having me. I loved it. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I have one final question for you, actually, that I'd
Sure.
love for people listening, because even in entrepreneurship, we can get so bogged down with the things we're doing and our next goal and managing our team. And there's just a lot of balls we have in the air that we're juggling. And we tend to put ourselves after that, right? We don't always think about our personal wellness, as I shared with you, my journey and what I'm not doing that I should be doing. What is one tip that you could share with people that they could actually take action on right now that would benefit them and get that ball, maybe get started moving on their wellness path?
Absolutely. You know what? I think that the simplest thing is just to start simple. It's we hear a lot of time with the keep it simple. It is so true. I think sometimes we are black or white. Like I have to be all in or nothing. And you don't have to. Like just start walking every couple of days, every other day. Just start small. You'll be amazed at how those little habits add up to big results. And it is amazing how after you look back and like, wow, I've been able to exercise most days of the week. Those are the things that build momentum, and that's a great place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great advice. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for being here today. It's been such a great conversation. You've
My pleasure.
inspired me to get moving. I get moving for my wellness on my wellness journey. Thank you all for listening to Brian and I today. Make sure that you go connect with him. We have all of Brian's information, his bio and his links and everything in the show notes. So make sure you reach out to him, and you can also go and connect with him on his website. It is fatlossbuffalo.com. So go to fatlossbuffalo.com, go check that out and go connect with him and have a chat with him. He's a pretty awesome guy. So thank you, Brian, for your time. Thank you all
You're
for
welcome. My
listening.
pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening to us today on the Business Growth Spotlight. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.